So last weekend when Captain America Brave New World opened at the box office, and let's face it, the numbers were really underwhelming for a Marvel property. The mainstream media did what the mainstream media does, and that was they tried to prop up this movie as some sort of successful release, running cover for both Disney and Marvel. I mean, look at this headline here from Variety. Captain America Brave New World flies to heroic $100 million over President's Day holiday weekend. Really? With all the things that were surrounding this movie, from the test screenings being reportedly bad, to the entire movie being reshot, to further reshoots happening, to what we presume is Disney Marvel flat out fibbing, or let's just put it this way, lying about the reported budget of $180 million. We knew that this movie was going to have a very rough road to turn a profit at the box office. This article came out one day later. Still a Variety. Captain America Brave New World opened to $100 million. Does a B- cinema score spell trouble for staying power? Well, folks, we got the answer to that. Yes, it does spell trouble for staying power. In fact, this is from Joe Blow. Weekend box office. The monkey shines while Cap takes a big fall. Captain America Brave New World opened with a decent but underwhelming $100 million four-day opening last weekend. Many wondered whether or not the film would be able to sustain any kind of momentum at the box office. Well, some of us didn't wonder. Some of us kind of already had an idea what was going to happen. It was just a matter of how big the drop. While the movie had a better week-to-week hold than the Marvels, which fell a disastrous 78%, and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which fell 70%, the 68% week-to-week decline is still quite steep, with 141.2 million total. It looks unlikely that the film will even be able to crack 200 million domestically unless it could rebound at the box office somewhat next weekend. Now, what the mainstream media did here is they kept running with the narrative of, how does this movie compare to Winter Soldier? Captain America Winter Soldier, which was released 10 years ago. Nearly 11 years ago. When they should have been talking about, hey, how does this movie compare to Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which was released just 2 years ago on the same weekend? Yeah. I mean, if you look at Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, its opening weekend was $106 million. If you look at Captain America, its opening weekend was, wait for it, 88.8 million. If you include President's Day, that holiday on that Monday, just over 100 million. So it's already tracking behind Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Now, let's look at week number 2. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, 31.9 million, just shy of $32 million at the box office. What's week number 2 like? Oh, 28.2 million. Ouch. So this movie is tracking behind Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's what everybody should be looking at. Now, a couple of things here. I'm going to start here. Culture Crave. Their posts are now protected over at Culture Crave. And why is that? Well, it's because they were called out last week for parroting the narrative of Captain America 4 only cost $180 million to shoot. That's what its budget was. When we know Disney has a history of lying about their budgets for their movies. How do we know this? Well, it's because any movie shot in the UK, they have to file paperwork that becomes public information sometimes a few months later. And Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, who had a reported $200 million budget, well, it turns out the budget for that movie was actually somewhere around $413 million. Oops. Now, if you take into account the tax breaks that they got, so now the budget after the tax breaks is $380 million. But it still doesn't excuse the fact that Marvel puts out a number, throws it out there, and the media runs with it when it defies all logic and reason, like in the case of Captain America, Brave New World, whose reported budget was $180 million before the movie was reshot and before other reshoots were done. So there is no way on God's green earth this movie had a $180 million budget. No way. Captain America news over on X. Captain America Brave New World has reached $289.4 million worldwide. The film has a production budget of $180 million. No. Just no. And people are calling this out. $180 million production budget, actual cost, estimated at $350 to $375 million production cost, 4 sets of reshoots. Marketing costs, $150 million. Actual cost, likely at least $500 million. Needs make $1 billion to break even. No, actually, I'm gonna correct Bradley's. Follow the Bradley's fun here. If this number here is actually the actual budget plus marketing, we're talking $1.5 billion to break even. Not to nitpick or anything. Luis Fernando, first weekend 182 million. Second weekend 289. Finish 405 plus. On par with such films as Thor, Shang-Chi, and the Eternals. Now, I like some of the stuff Luis Fernando does, but you're comparing the movies that were released for what was Shang-Chi 4 or 5 years ago, Black Widow 4 years ago, Eternals 4 years ago. This is the one you got to look at. You got to look at Quantumania. Over at the direct, Captain America Brave New World bombs at the box office, grossing $28.3 million domestically in its second weekend. This is the third biggest box office drop in MCU history, behind Ant-Man Quantumania and the Marvels. Yeah, this movie is being a disaster. Rob Liefeld, who, created Deadpool, he's already on Kevin Feige, saying that Kevin Feige is done. He's spent. Get him off the mound. We need a relief pitcher. Oh, one can only hope. Kevin Feige's a lot like Kathleen Kennedy, in my opinion. He's going to leave when he decides to leave. There ain't nobody going to force him out of Marvel. So there you have it. That's the numbers, folks. No matter how much spin the media is going to try to put on this, Captain America Brave New World, whether you like the movie or not, the numbers are the numbers. The numbers don't lie. This movie is probably going to lose Disney somewhere between $100 to $200 million when it's all said and done. Now, could that change? Sure, it could change. It would take a minor miracle for it to change, but it could change. So I'll leave it to you guys. What do you guys think? Do you think this is a box office bomb? Do you think this movie at this point They need to do everything they can to mitigate the losses. I mean, it's reported everywhere. This movie's drop, this big drop is big news. And what's that say for the Thunderbolts, which comes out in May? What's that say for Fantastic Four, which comes out in July? And keep in mind, Fantastic Four comes out amidst Jurassic Park and Superman in July. So you guys leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. While you're at it, please take the time to smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a video. And with that, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you later.